Hi everyone, I'm Airier. Today we're going to jump into the next form of torture that Super Eyepatch Wolf is going to have us endure, willingly, because I enjoy this. I realize how weird this sounds. This is going to be the bizarre world of fake martial arts. If it's anything like the fake world of psychics or the fake world of YouTube, are those what they're called? No, but they really would be accurate titles. I think I know what I'm getting into on this one. It's going to hurt. I'm going to be enraged. And a little more faith in humanity is just going to not be there anymore. You know, the average Super Eyepatch Wolf video that doesn't involve wrestling or anime. Yeah, I'm doing this to myself. I have no one to blame but myself. So we're going to jump right in. Otherwise, you guys know the deal. Link below. Video. Hit it up. Let's get started.
Let the bodies hit the floor.
Is he dancing? Oh, it's fake martial arts. It's people showing off. Is that a gun? I'm sorry. What? Okay, I've heard of fake martial arts, but this is just, it's a straight up con job, isn't it? He's literally just waving his hand and they all know to fall back because they're part of the con. Oh my. Do people actually fall for this? No, there's an audience. They definitely did. That's what's, okay, it's going to be the psychic video all over again. I knew it, but I just, really, right off the bat. Oh, of course, it's not even just actual martial arts, just pretending. It's going to be a bunch of people pretending they have magic martial arts powers. Shouldn't be surprised. I should have known. But of course, this is where it's going right away. I don't even...
One of my favorite things about this job, besides the legions of adoring fans and crippling existential crises, is the occasional opportunity that comes with stumbling across a weird, baffling internet hole and seeing just how deep and dark it goes. And friends...
I'm sorry, I'm seeing some of this, and I only have moderate martial arts training. It was very minimal. Even I know everything they just did is absolute bullshit. How do people fall for this? It doesn't look real. You look at this and go, okay, yeah, this is just bad acting.
Let me welcome you to the strange world of fake martial arts. What I mean by fake is everything from the...
Okay, no, I'm not even... I have to say something. I can't hold back. I'm just... This video right here. Look at this. Okay, am I... This is as high as... Okay, it's just a very bad source. Look at his movements. He's just going, ah. I don't even need to know what's going on here to know that this is so many layers of bullshit.
What I mean by fake is everything from the unusual techniques of mail-order karate dojos to the fabled pressure point knockouts of dim mock masters, all the way up to the near superhuman abilities of the no-touch KO artists.
If anyone actually believes that... Seriously? Pressure points are a thing. They're used in acupuncture, and frankly, you can only tell because you actually have a few under your chin that if you push on them, they actually impinge blood flow, and it hurts. There's also a few on the side, and like if you... Also, technically, if you break your nose in your head, that's not really a pressure point. It's a point where pressure could be used to make a point. Once. Ever. Yeah, don't look into it too much.
And if you've never seen this stuff, it is real, as in at least some of the people involved believe it is happening. And granted, the topic of fake fighting might be an ironic choice coming from...
Oh, yeah, it's the Golden Lovers video. Because he did the previous one about the wrestling. And yeah, I get why he's saying it's fake fighting. But it's like if wrestling was still mask on, fully, straight face, this is real. To everyone but the FCC, so they couldn't bet on, or not FCC, I guess it would be the FEC, SEC? SEC, Securities Exchange Commission, because that'd be money involved at that point.
Is happening, and granted, the topic of fake fighting might be an ironic choice coming from someone this...
Okay, also, I do see the irony, yeah.
...into professional wrestling, but martial arts have also been a pretty big part of my life. I've been doing different forms
actual
of
martial arts, I hope.
boxing, tai
Damn.
chi, and most recently Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for about 12 years now.
And see, that's the difference between a real fight and a fake fight. A real fight where grappling is allowed, you stay on the mat and you just kind of look like you're in some kind of burrito position. Is it the actual way it's called? No. But look at me. Look at me. I'm the YouTuber now. This looks like they're just making a burrito. Because anything else I could possibly say is not YouTube appropriate, and I would definitely wouldn't think it.
And hey, I'm not saying that because I'm trying to claim I'm any kind of tough guy. If anything, I know just enough about fighting to know how little I know.
I am basically in that category, although I would go one step further and say I know just enough about fighting to realize I should not be in a fight because I will just get my ass kicked.
But I do think it gives me some understanding in how a person is able to convince themselves they have these abilities and why a room full of people would be willing to believe them.
Convince themselves? Oh, we are reaching that level of schizophrenia today. I thought we were going to, here's the scam artist. It's stupid, but they managed to convince people it works. No, we're going to, they've convinced themselves they are their own victims. I'm sure it's not going to be all of them because that would be insane. But also, apparently, we are going to people who are probably actually insane. Oh, this is just going to be a really sad rap, isn't it?
And it's around here that a darker, more insidious side of fake martial arts begins to emerge.
Let me guess, money?
Which we will get to. But to start, I think it's important to understand the appeal of martial arts themselves and how and why they became popular.
Yeah, I remember doing those drills.
Particularly in the kung fu craze of the early 70s.
See, this is something I've heard about, but I don't know much about other than Bruce Lee was awesome, and then that went bad. I don't know much about the kung fu craze, so this is going to be very much new to me.
Martial arts were first introduced to America late into World War II, when American soldiers deployed in Japan learned different forms of karate and judo, even having it integrated into their basic training. And later, these same soldiers would return to America and open their own dojos.
Wait, they did? Seriously? So American soldiers who spent time in, I'm assuming more than just Japan. I don't actually know if we had a presence in China or Indonesia at that point. I would have assumed so. I mean, I'm assuming we still have it now, but not China. Also, I just realized you could see where the fake hairline is on this. Huh.
But where martial arts really started to penetrate popular culture was the resurgence of the Hong Kong Kung Fu movie. And whatever else I'm going to talk about this video, one thing I want to make clear is that Kung Fu movies are fucking awesome. If you've never seen the likes of Drunken Master, Enter the Dragon, Five Fingers of Death, or Snake in Eagle's Shadow, you should do everything you can to track them down. These movies are stunning physical fantasies. Stories told less through dialogue and plot development as much as they are through beautifully controlled violence.
I'm going to say something that's probably offensive. It looks like the male, like alpha male version of going to watch a ballet. Tell me I'm wrong. It's a bunch of choreographed movements for the enjoyment of an audience who will sit patiently by as the person does all the expressive flips and spins and gestures to make it work. It literally does feel that way, just more violent ballet.
Channeling the will and energy of their performers into furious bouts of physical combat, making for kinetic, exhilarating blasts of cinema. But there was also another side to the choreographed violence.
Wait. The tracksuit? So that's where Kill Bill got that from. Oh my god. I'm sorry, I never actually got the reference, and now I see that it actually was a reference in the first place.
As at the heart of many of these movies was a bold declaration of national identity, a deeply political message tied to these fighters. In the late 19th and early 20th century, China and Hong Kong had suffered repeated invasions and colonizations by British and Japanese armies.
Because it's Hong Kong, and then Hong Kong was also separate from China at the time being, so... Oh, I wasn't actually aware of the political overtones in these style of movies at all. Huh, that's actually fascinating. I wish that was the focus of this, rather than what I know is going to cause me absolute pain and rage.
Chinese people being seen as a weak, divided nation incapable of defending itself from invading forces, with the Chinese routinely referred to as the sick men of Asia.
Seriously?
And so, when in Fist of Fury, Bruce Lee battled his way into a Japanese karate dojo before declaring, "We are not sick men," it was a moment of elation for Chinese cinemagoers. No
dogs in Chinese. Seriously? Of course, casual racism. That's... And it makes sense he's walking into a Japanese dojo for that. Okay. There's significant xenophobia. I'm aware of that. Nice country otherwise. Yeah. But I can get why this would become a national symbol because, one, he's really damn good at what he does because he's freaking Bruce Lee. And two, walking in, taking on an entire dojo, and then making a statement of pride for what you have been hearing the exact opposite of. I mean, that makes sense. That's what a lot of people, when they feel down, want to hear. We are not weak. That has been done to good and bad extents. And it makes sense that this would be a thing, especially because, well, it still looks like Technicolor. I'm not actually sure if it was, but at this time period, it's probably close enough that that's within living memory of the people who'll be watching this. So they would probably have memories of going to see it, is what I mean by living memory. Huh. And then that would lead into the national pride. And then the fake martial artists would probably try and capitalize on that somehow. Oh, this is going to be
Magors, as it was in the same movie when Lee obliterated a sign that read, "No dogs or Chinese allowed." This scene is key to understanding the power of these films, as across international waters, these signs also existed, albeit targeting different groups of people. But in these movies, no matter how society or the powers that be viewed you, kung fu and martial arts were the great equalizer. A way not for the strong to get stronger, but for the weak to rise up, to give ordinary people the strength to stand and challenge convention, to declare I am here and I am relevance. This was the powerful fantasy that martial arts films were built on, and what let them explode box offices.
Okay. I'm sorry. I know this is probably not the right thing, but dear God, that guy looks freakish. Maybe it's just because, and maybe Bruce Lee was small by comparison, but damn, giantism maybe? I'm sorry. It looks like something out of a One Piece character design. Am I the only one seeing that? Am I the only one seeing that? I'm probably the only one seeing that. Hoy. So I see how this is entirely a craze because it's not just the national aspect. It's literally got the resonance factor of what he said, that these kind of issues that he's fighting, even though it's specifically meant for one audience in Hong Kong, it does translate because feeling oppressed and wanting to shoot back or slap back, or in this case, punch back, is a thing. I see how the appeal is there.
In cinemas across America. But it was in the desire for that fantasy that gave rise to the early days of fake martial arts. Which brings us to a man who referred to himself as the Crown Prince of Death, Count Juan Raphael Dante.
What?
If you flick through the pages of enough Silver Age Marvel comics, you'll inevitably come across these strange advertisements of Count Dante.
What? I'm sorry, he advertised in Marvel Comics? One, I didn't know you advertised in comics. And two, the world's deadliest fighting secrets can be yours free. Black Dragon Fighting Society. Count Dante is the undefeated Supreme Grand Master of the Fighting Arts. Won the World Overall Fighting Arts Championship. Master Expert Dragon, defeating the world's top masters of judo, boxing, wrestling, kung fu, karate, aikido, etc. death matches on August 1st, 1967. Fascinating crown that count the world's deadliest fighting arts champion and master. I would like to say there's a lack of critical thinking going on here, but frankly, this is the right place. It's people who want to believe in the more than human aspects and who are most likely kids at this time period being given the idea is like, hey, you can do this too and be one of the heroes. It's literally just taking advantage of kids at this point. I mean, I could see it in the early comic era. It's like silver and gold era. Yeah. The later you get, though, how long did this go? It makes it creepier the longer it went. Also, seriously, anyone who actually knows anything about tournaments, believing that this guy fought in all of those styles, you're doing MMA at that point. Mixed martial arts. In the sense that you could do anything, but generally you kind of just end up with more or less wrestling at some point, because after a while it all kind of just comes down to opponent can't move, I can, I take less damage, they get fucked up. I'm heavily oversimplifying that, but in general, you don't see fancy fights in MMA. You see on the ground so that you try and restrict the opponent's movement while they do the same to you, and see who comes out on top punching the other person's ass off, or most likely chin, or wherever else lands. I'm very simplifying it, I realize. It's just, you don't have actual solid arts championships unless you decide to enter in each of them. That's still stupid, and it's so unbelievable. And again, I gotta remind myself, it's kids who are most likely reading this. It's literally preying on kids. And yes, I do realize this is basically the Little Orphan Annie advertisements from A Christmas Story at the end of it. It's just that level of scumbaggery.
According to these ads, Dante was the master of the dim mak, or poison hand fighting style. Considered by many as evil and cruel, the lethally savage ripping, tearing, slashing, clawing, and gouging techniques, which comprise the poison hand arsenal, are used to attack by strike, touch, or pressure the nerve centers, pressure points, major blood vessels, and vital.
Okay, one, yeah, a gut punch is a thing. Specifically, if you want to go for a kidney punch. That is a very real way to fuck someone up. That said, you can tell they're very much going for a small male child in this who's like, ooh, violence! This is so cool! Oh, God, especially like the emphasis and the bolded letters of torturing, disfiguring, maim, cripple, or kill. And considering there's on the back of comic books where it'd be like, thwap, pow, bang. This is definitely pre-90s, but that actually would fit in the style of 90s writing, so it's probably the people who like this went on to do that. 80s too. 80s and 90s. Wow, I'm sorry. I haven't even got to how much of a scam this is yet, and already I can see that it's going to be enraging. It's so stupid.
The pamphlet, written by Dante, offered to turn its readers into, and I quote, shocking human horror weapons capable of killing
it will be a horror when they're done.
Opponents with a single touch, while also talking about how handsome Dante was and how good he was at dancing. On the surface, it seems obvious what's happening here. Count Dante, real name John Keehan, was looking to take advantage of the kung fu craze of the 70s by selling his pamphlet to gullible young comic book readers. But where things start to get strange is the more you look into Count Dante, the more it seems like he actually believed what he was writing.
What?
He did have a legitimate history of karate.
Oh.
He did own 2 dojos in South Chicago, where he and his pet lion would...
Pet lion. You know, there's an easy test to see if someone is a douchebag. Do you have a pet exotic animal and you're not in either a circus, a zoo, or I honestly can't think of anyone else. Literally, it's like, oh my God, you even have the Van Dyke. Because it doesn't connect all the way, it's a different thing. I don't even... truly, anyone who has that style of beard is an absolute asshole. And I should know from experience.
Lion would wander the streets, with Dante known to do things like show up at Muhammad Ali's house challenging him to fights, offering friends pistols with which to shoot him so he could demonstrate his bullet-catching techniques, with Dante even at the center of the infamous Chicago Dojo Wars, with him...
Chicago Dojo Wars. You know, I don't need context to know exactly what that is, and already I'm wondering, did this guy get hit in the head? Followed by, he was in martial arts. Yes, the answer is definitely yes. He was hit in the head multiple times. This is a man with brain damage, because that is the only way I can explain this. The fact that he actually had a fighting background is pretty cool. The fact that he is pulling the scumbaggery, expected but disappointing. But it seems like Super Eyepatch Wolf is slowly leading up to saying, and might have already started to allude to, not just that he believes it, but he doesn't realize he's being the scumbag about it. Not realizing it makes it worse.
Him attempting to blow up an enemy dojo with a stick of dynamite.
Okay, never mind. I thought that was going to be like, gang warfare. We'll go. We'll meet in the back. We're going to fuck you up. Maybe throw a Molotov cocktail. No, we're just going to use straight up dynamite. Okay. We are going to levels of actually crime.
Before carrying out a raid on an enemy training hall that resulted in the death of his friend and student, Jim Konsovic. This all
Seriously?
actually happens. Count Dante died in 1975.
Was he trying to catch a
what
bullet?
he left behind was the bizarre legacy of a strange man lost in a fantasy. And over the years, we'd see so many people like this. The batshit insane ninjutsu of the mail-order ninja Ashita Kim. The fake life.
I'm sorry. The fuck was that? That was a mail order ninja? Okay, let's be completely honest here. This is showing how to dodge bullets. My initial assumption was, I'm just saying, if you got a guy who's wrapped up and he's standing in front of a target, it's either a video that we probably shouldn't be showing on YouTube or a video we really shouldn't be showing on YouTube. There's really no middle ground here right now. One is bad, the other is really bad. I'll let you fill in the blanks on which one's which.
The fake life of Frank Dukes, of whom the entire film Bloodsport was based on, before being exposed as a fraud by the LA Times. Right up to modern day. Wait,
there's a movie based on the asshole? Ninja Hero, or Master Fake? Other kicks holes in fabled past of Woodland Hills martial arts teacher. It's Friday night at the drive-in. Pale-skinned hero sees a hot new arts flick. Asian arch villain when Tekka 6 erupts in honking horns and flashing headlights. Bloodsport. True American hero defeated all comers 13 years ago in a no-holds-barred international tournament of warriors. The movie opened last month at 800 U.S. theaters. Successful exposure West Coast. Frank Dukes Woodland Hills chronicles his training by a Japanese master warrior named Tiger and his eventual victory in the hush-hush competition in the Bahamas. So it's an American who went to a Asian underground fighting den and then all turned out to be fake? I mean, yeah, that makes sense, but I'm judging this, obviously. But I have to stop and think, how much of that is my current knowledge basis bias? And how much of that is just things are more prevalent now? We know more about scams. We know more about the levels of bullshit people are willing to put forward to milk other people of their money. I should probably add, because that sounds really weird when I put it the other way. Let's just say bilk. It sounds a little less disturbing. And even if Count Dante seemed to actually be insane enough to believe his bullshit, this guy obviously had to know if he did all of that bullshit, is what I want to say. But it sounds like this is mixing in a lot of people who are actually mentally ill with some combat experience and a lot of over-the-top bravado to say all this bullshit about themselves. It's like they are their own scam victims, but they're also scamming other people. What the hell, man?
Right up to modern day, this is still happening.
Oh, it still goes?
Which brings us to the infamous and strange no-touch master, George Dillman. Dillman first came to prominence for pioneering his pressure point knockouts.
You know what? I should never be in better shape than someone in a gi. The robe he's wearing. That is not right, man. No. Anyone who actually does physical exercise to keep up with martial arts should not have that issue. That is... Why would you believe this man?
Techniques that would let him...
I'm sorry, I'm going to still go back to that. It's like going into a restaurant and seeing a skinny chef. Why the fuck would you trust that person to eat his own food at that point? It just, is it always the case? No. But it's a very easy one. Don't.
Under a person unconscious with only the lightest tap. But where he started to gain national attention was in his chi-based no-touch knockout.
Seriously?
Which would let him knock someone out through blasts of invisible energy. In 2005, Dillman welcomed a team of National Geographic filmmakers into his dojo.
I'm sorry, this is unexcusable. I don't know the coverage right here, but just that smug, oh yeah, I see, yeah, yeah, that's fun. I like this. This is nice. It's like someone performing a play in front of you that you know is bullshit, but everyone else is like, oh, are they really doing this? It's like that one friend who doesn't believe wrestling's real. Believe. And then everyone else around them going like, yeah, this is awesome. But they also know it's not real, but they don't really care. And they're like, oh yeah, look at all these people who think it's real. Huh, this is nice. I'll humor them. It's so smug. And I have no idea how they cover this, but that is a level of, I don't believe what I'm seeing, but I'll just nod and be nice about it. I mean, granted, I usually prefer the entire, you're a fucking asshole approach, where I would go up to someone and then tell them, you are a fucking asshole. It's not a good way to make friends, but it's also very straightforward because anyone who's doing this needs to be called out.
And after a group of successful demonstrations on his own students, a National Geographic chemist and skeptic stepped forward, offering himself up to
and he's going to go with it because it makes good TV.
Be knocked out by the chi-based technique. And the result was nothing. The chemist was completely unaffected.
I'm actually surprised. I legitimately thought he would just roll with it because good show. Good for his integrity to do that. I'll give him points for it.
With Dillman's explanation as to why the no-touch knockout didn't work being just, well, baffling.
The skeptic was a totally non-believer. Plus,
so let me get this straight. Your entire thing is you convince people that you have powers, so they act like you have powers because they believe you have powers. Yeah, that makes sense. It's literally the placebo effect.
I don't know if I should say that on film, but if the guy had his tongue in the wrong position of the mouth, that can also nullify it. If I say I'm going to knock you out, and you raise one toe and push one toe down, can't knock you out.
Surprisingly, this exact same scenario took place again years later when a Fox News report visited the dojo of Dillman's star pupil Tom Cameron.
At least this guy has to know it's a complete and utter fraud, right? I'm sure the previous guy did too because he's making up a bullshit example. But it's entirely possible he might have convinced himself. Because when it comes to mental health issues, it's going to be everyone believes whatever they want, even in despite or in spite of evidence otherwise.
Master of the same no-touch techniques and also an expert in dim mak. That's the same martial art as
seriously,
with Cameron offering to demonstrate his pressure point knockout on the tiny Fox News reporter.
God, you're scared. Relax. I'm not going to hurt you.
He refused to try the touchless knockout on me, saying he thought I may get hurt.
If you touch this...
Instead, he used a light tap technique to affect my nervous system. Wait, you just hit me in the head. We were less than stunned by this stun guns demonstration.
Cameron later claimed that the technique was only effective on 40% of people.
So you find the 40% who listen to that bullshit? Ugh. I always have to wonder, do they actually believe it because they convince themselves, or are they just going along with it for the spectacle? And frankly, if it was spectacle acting, I'd actually appreciate it more. Because the people who believe it, I just feel bad for them, man. Because at that point, it's self-enforced mental illness. It's literally a point of, I don't even know if you can give yourself mental illness on purpose, but they're very much trying.
Despite the fact it worked on 0% of fighters at a local Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym. No way,
yeah, I'm shocked.
To be real.
It's like an actual fighter wouldn't put up with that.
Because if this was real, then Dragon Ball Z is real and I can stop making YouTube videos. But much to my disappointment, there's never been a single recorded case of a pressure point knockout or a no-touch technique working on a resistant skeptic or in any kind of competitive context.
I mean, normally if you do a pressure point knockout, it's because you literally fuck someone's head up. It's like literally cutting off blood flow. That's how pressure points actually work when you use them legitimately. Because you're literally cutting blood flow. Or breaking bones where they're shatterable. Or just hitting the kidney. There's a lot of ways that technically, okay, maybe they wouldn't be classified as pressure points. Huh. I'm not wondering if I've been using the wrong terminology about them the entire time. Entirely possible.
And the principles of energy that these techniques are based off have never been verified by any kind of...
They brought a paranormal investigator?
But if that's the case, then what the fuck is actually happening in these videos?
Part scam, part mental illness.
Really believe they have supernatural powers? And
some probably do.
Why are they working on regular people?
Are they?
And to answer the first part of that question, I want to talk about a fight that took place in 2006 between a mixed martial arts practitioner and a psychic Qigong master.
I'm sorry, a what?
Martial arts practitioner and a psychic Qigong master.
Nope. No, I heard this. Content warning for physical violence. You know what? I'm hoping the King Kong Master gets his ass kicked because at this point, it's the psychic video all over again, but this time with violence involved. And people doing the good old-fashioned, it didn't work, bitch. I'm wondering if the reason it doesn't work is because they know better than to let themselves get drawn into the spectacle of it.
I want to give a little warning here, just that I'm going to be showing footage that some people might find difficult to watch. I know these are meant to be contests between two trained fighters, but, well, they aren't. What you're seeing here is the no-touch master Yanagi Ryukin, whose mastery of multiple styles of martial arts, along with his innate psychic abilities, allow him to fight scores of opponents while defending himself with kinetic blasts of psychic energy.
I mean, the choreography is great, and it's very much that. Choreography, because I don't believe a bit of that is real.
His abilities are so strong that he's even able to manipulate the bodies of his opponents like a marionette. And it was with these techniques that led him to be victorious in an unverified 200 Ballet Tudo fights.
I mean, it's easy to be unverified and still win it. Like, I can claim I went into an underground Bangkok fighting ring with only myself, my bronze knuckles, and a very tight leotard that was honestly very too small for what I needed and very uncomfortable. And I'd use that frustration to crush everyone in front of me. Unverified, though, so you can never actually tell. See, I now have exactly the same claim to legitimacy as every person we've talked about so far.
Basically, no holds barred contests.
Yeah.
In 2006, the 65-year-old Qigong master put up $5,000.
Oh my god, wait, did he say 2006? Come get you some.com. Okay. It wasn't 2006, was it?
In 2006, the 60.
It was 2006. Alrighty then. Just further proof that there's a sucker for everyone. Poor bastards are getting scammed by someone who literally has to reinforce their own level of bullshit into the belief so that they act on it because they think they have to. Or more likely, there's just people going along with it and they're probably paid. It's what I would hope for, but frankly, there's probably people who don't realize it's a scam and are going along with it and believe, oh, he's moving this way, I have to move this way because I'll get hurt otherwise. This is so stupid. It's taking advantage of gullible people. That's all it fucking is.
5-year-old Qigong master put up $5,000 of his own money, claiming he could defeat any mixed martial arts practitioner, a challenge that would be accepted by Iwakura Go, a Japanese journalist trained in judo, karate, and Brazilian.
I'm actually surprised the psychic warrior would accept this fight because actually fighting
in jiu-jitsu. And so the fight was set for November 26th, and in front of a crowd of 500 people, the two fighters stepped forward to face each other, and as a hush falls over the crowd, the fight began.
Damn!
So, I remember the first time I ever got punched in the face in a...
Yeah, see, this is a fight, and it fucking hurts when that happens. Just gonna go back a bit. Like, right here, he got the grapple in. Ooh, he went for the gut punch. Got him on the neck. And then... here it is. Pulls back to get more room. Right in the jaw. Ooh, so if he was looking here, it would be... ooh, right on the side of the jaw, too. That is going to ring your head. Because when you come right down to it, your head is a box your brain sits in. And then it bounces around because it's squishy and it will compress. That is what you get a concussion from. That guy, I guess the term is, rang his bell. In this case, that little ribbly thingy that makes all the noise is his brain. And that outer casing is his skull, and it is ringing. Yeah. Knocked down.
So, I remember the first time I ever got punched in the face in a competitive spar. And what stayed with me wasn't even the pain, but just the
Disorientation.
jarring sense of disbelief that I'd just been struck by another human.
Really?
And learning to get over that shock, learning how to get punched in the face, is maybe the most valuable lesson I've taken from martial arts.
Huh. This is not saying I disagree with him. I mean, getting used to taking a hit is hard. I did a little martial arts, but most of it was fencing. The martial arts I never got serious enough to put to that level. But fencing, all the time you get hit in everywhere. And it takes a while to accept being hit with a rod of metal and just having it shoved right into you violently. You know what I mean? Why do I even say things? But the idea that your shock is less that I just got hit and more someone just hit me, it actually says more about Super Eyepatch Wolf being just a really nice guy. Because the internalized concept of why would someone hit me is the biggest shocking point for him. Where for a lot of people, I know for me, it was very much the, oh shit, I just got hit. It's the surprise of violence as opposed to what he's dealing with was the surprise of violence directed at him. Huh. That does say more about him just being a really nice person and reinforcing the fact that I'm a definite asshole.
And what I find so disturbing about this moment is we're watching a supposed master experience that same shock for what...
I mean, disturbing. He calls this disturbing. I call this awesome because fucking scam artist got punched in the face. I see no downside to this.
Looks like the first time.
Yeah.
He's in disbelief about what's just happened. The other fighter
he
even
actually
checking if he's okay before the fight continues.
He actually believed this?
And comes to a brutal...
He's not a fighter. He actually believed it.
I don't take any pleasure in this footage.
I do. I take significant pleasure in this. Right now, I am absolutely loving the fact that someone who is scamming others is getting punched in the face. Tempered by the fact that it's obviously becoming real that he believed it himself, so he was his own con artist. Yeah, that does actually reduce the pleasure significantly. It's just a mentally ill person believing they have magic and then deciding they want to try and fly one day off a building and then not realizing that that would lead to certain things that weren't their intended outcome of going over to the next building. Okay, yeah, I see where he's coming from now.
To me, we're watching an old man being violently humiliated on what has to be the worst day of his entire life.
Because
And
he's having
it's
his own delusions
pathetic
popped.
and sad. I can't imagine what's going through the 65-year-old's mind as he kneels on the mat, clutching his...
The alternative could also be, oh shit, I thought he'd go along with the scam. And I don't know which way it's going right now, because it could very well be, oh shit, I got played, or oh shit, this isn't working.
broken face. But I also think it's hard not to watch this footage and not consider the level of delusion that brought him to this moment.
Significant.
A delusion so strong that not even this fight could break it. Ryukin would later claim
This fight, he literally had reality punch him in the face. To reiterate, literally had reality punch him in
so
the
strong
face.
that
And that wasn't enough to break his delusion. I mean, if that's not mental illness, man, I don't know what is.
not even this fight could break it. Ryukin would later claim that his psychic abilities were not working that day due to an illness, and he has since returned to teaching martial arts, gaining new students, and propagating his no-touch fighting style. And so
No. No. Just no. You know, I thought this would be an easier video. I thought we'd finish it in one go because it's short. It's not going to just harm me or hurt me or make me question life choices. But this is like this special version of what the fuck. Because you realize it's a scam done by people who are victims of their own scam. It's like a Ponzi scheme where the guy at the top invests at the bottom level with himself. I don't even know, but it is very much just mentally ill people spreading a form of psychosis to people who are so desperate to believe it's real that they go along with it, convincing themselves and like make this loop of bullshit. I honestly kind of wish it was a flat out scam because right now it's just sad. And as much as I do like the fact that one of these scam artists is getting punched in the face, the fact that they're also their own victim, apparently, because he seemed actually stunned that he would get hit. And I just, for my own safety, I might just say, oh, no. He was only surprised that the guy who took him up on it wasn't playing along with the con. It's like, wait, he's actually fighting me? Oh, shit. And until Super Eyepatch Wolves gives further information, or I look it up on my own, which might be more depressing, I don't know if it's him believing the con or him believing other people would go along with the con. But either way, it is just... It's either assholes preying on the desperate or the desperate preying on the desperate. But either way, it's all bullshit all the way down. God damn. Either way, you guys know the deal. I'll be back next week to get through the second half of this. It doesn't hurt as bad as some of the others, but it's too much right now, man. Oh, dear God. This would be a lot easier if Super Eyepatch Wolf wasn't making a very compelling story out of it. If he made it boring, I could just get through this quickly. But no, he had to actually be good at this shit. Ugh. You guys know the deal. Link below video. Hit it up. And I'll see you in the next one. Adios.